aside from money, what do you do this for?
The satisfaction that you're able to change somebody's entire legacy. I mean, legacy, I feel like is not used enough. And if you have something that can change somebody's legacy that everybody will know for forever, that hits home for me.
Thank you for joining this week on the Elite Sales Podcast. I'm joined in studio this week, John Bacaron, the FFL Elite Syndicate.
What up, what up?
We have Clifton Henry, coming straight from Wall Street, looking sharp with FFL Generational. We got Yoel working behind the scenes here, engineering the show. We're going to have Rall joining us remotely from Florida. So we'll talk to him in just a second. But I think this is the last podcast for the year, right?
Unless we're having one in 29th.
Which we may. So we're nearing the end of the year, regardless. So the thing is, with the end of the year coming up, where'd the year go? Yeah. So for everyone that's on here listening, everyone's on here watching, got to reflect back. The year is over, which I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make that big of a difference because every day is a new opportunity, right? Every month's a new opportunity. We just tend to look at this is a year. So this is our revolution around the sun. So we figure like we place a lot of value in that. It feels, for a lot of people, it feels like a new beginning.
Yeah.
So if you reflect back, how do you guys feel this year went for you guys?
You want to go first? I'll go first. It's been good. It's good. There's been good. There's been bad. I mean, like on my end, personally, I have a 4-month-old that had a new baby, right? So it's crazy new challenges. Business wise, it could have gotten better. I was just looking at it. I think we are about the same total annual production compared to last year. So there's a lot of things to reflect. So I just went over my team's call. There's a lot of things to look at, to reflect, to readjust, to refocus. Good and bad, but yeah, overall good. I would consider.
Yeah. You didn't go negative. You didn't go backwards.
Right.
Which is always a plus.
Yes.
How about you, Cliff?
This year went by mad fast. Oh my goodness. What I can say is that I learned a lot, and it could have definitely been better. I could have definitely, you can say, went harder, but I feel like I've definitely grown if I compared myself and my business to last year. So I'm not necessarily disappointed, but I do feel like there could have been a lot more effort put into me, myself, and growing within the business and just becoming a better leader and a better business owner. So I feel like reflecting back now and just like seeing everything, it's kind of like a good thing, but also a bad thing at the same time. It's like, man, like I've grown, but dang, I could have done a lot more. You know what I mean? So I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm here. I'm happy that I'm able to reflect and see where you can say my business could have grown as far as like me as a leader and things like that. And I'm happy to, for the future and what the plans that I have for the future of my business. So, yeah.
Any thoughts for you, Yoel?
I don't know. I was going to be involved.
Stay ready, my man.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not tripping. I can work with it. No, yeah, for sure. I think we, on a personal level, I've learned a lot, and as well as we've continued to grow. Obviously, there's things that I wish wouldn't have been the case, but it is what it is, and we're always continuing to push forward. I don't really think of it in like like what did I do this year? Like obviously, you want to look back and always do better than last year, but for me, it's just always trying to improve every single day, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, reflecting back for all of you guys on here, I mean, I hope you guys have hit your personal goals. Hope you guys, and I guess there's a train of thought of as far as goals is you shouldn't really have them, because then you're kind of setting yourself up to feel bad potentially if you set too lofty of goals, but the thing is, I think, reasonable goals is important because it allows you to kind of gauge your progress throughout the year, kind of help you keep accountable. So for me, I mean, as far as the goals that I originally set up, yeah, we fell short. Like we're not there. But the thing is, we're ahead of where we were last year, which there's a little bit of, there's definitely progress in that regard. But as far as, looking at reflecting back on the business, yeah, I mean, of course, I would like to have more success. I think that's natural for anybody.
Yes.
And it's not just, my success, my team's success means more people are making more money.
Yeah. That
means more people are growing. That means more people are getting further ahead of where they want to be personally. So, I take that very seriously. And, at the end of the year, looking back, if we fell short on certain things, I mean, the thing is, yeah, I can't be disappointed in the team, but I can be disappointed in myself as far as I could have done maybe different things to kind of help guide people along in a different way. And, if I didn't do that for certain people, then, that's my fault.
Yeah.
That's something that I can reflect back on and look at. Okay, I could have changed this. I can do this, but that's kind of the good news too. With the new year right on the horizon, we can do it differently.
Yeah.
We can run it back. We can change all the things that we recognize now by reflecting on recognizing I could have done better in this area of my business, this area of my personal life, this area of whatever, and we can change it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, we should all be very grateful that we're blessed with our health.
Yes.
We're blessed with another opportunity to change the situation if it doesn't quite work out. It didn't turn out the way that we expected. And, that kind of brings me to the last couple of days have been kind of weird for me. I think I told you a little bit about it, but, my uncle,
Yeah.
Who's 73, about to turn 74, so apparently he was in a parking lot. He went out to go buy some groceries or something. And then he passed out. And then, he hit his face, and then someone in the parking lot must have called 911. And then they came and took him in an ambulance, took him to the hospital. So I got to go get a chance to go visit him a couple of days ago. And the thing is, his face was all bruised up. He seemed kind of disoriented. And I was, they said he was going to run an MRI. So, he went to go visit him just to make sure he's okay.
Yeah.
And then yesterday they called me, said he's ready for discharge. So I went to go pick him up. And then the thing is, I was like, all right, let's get you dressed and let's get you out of here. Let's get you back home and we'll see what we're going to do next. But the thing is, they couldn't find his clothes.
They lost everything.
They had a couple of brown paper sacks in which they kept his stuff. The first day I went to go visit him, it had his clothes, obviously, which it's not the most important thing because you can get more clothes, but it had his ID, it had his glasses, it has dentures, like all kinds of different things that I'm like, how do you guys expect him to get by? So we sat there for hours, waiting for them to try to find it. And then the thing is, I was sitting there for hours and I'm like, man, I just came to pick him up to bring him back home. But instead, like, I'm supposed to be working. It took me all these hours.
Yeah.
And then the thing that was frustrating, the hospital. So then the nurse said, oh, you can call this department and then see if they can find it. If not, you can file a complaint with them. So I call him, like, hey, I'm like, I don't even want to file a complaint. I just need to find his stuff so we can get him back home and let's just recover what we can. They said, oh, well, the person that did the intake, they're not here today. So, if you want to file a complaint, and then she gave me the number back to the person I was originally talking to file a complaint there. And I'm like, so no matter where I complain to, it's going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
It's just a make-believe complaint.
Gets you in a loop.
Pretending like they're going to care.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I know better. Like, no one cares when you complain.
That's true.
But, it really made me kind of think, number one, I feel for my uncle because when my parents got divorced, he used to come by, used to visit, used to bring us, Happy Meals and fast food and whatever, which as a kid seemed like a treat. As an adult, it seems like poison now, right?
Right.
But, as a kid, I mean, it meant a big deal. He spent a little bit of time with us, so, I mean, it was some fond memories that I had of him. And flash forward, in the process of us growing up, I went to school, he came by and visited less and less because he's got his own life to live, which you got to be, understanding about that. Everyone has their own lives, their own problems, their own stuff going on day to day that we don't think about because we're so self-obsessed most of the time.
Right.
Or even if you're not self-obsessed, you're dealing with the people directly in front of you.
Right.
So, the years pass by, see him every once in a while. But then, now we're at this age. I mean, I was 6 years old, I believe, when my parents divorced. And then he used to come by back then. And now, flash forward, he's 73. Right. And then
Like 30 plus years then, right?
30 plus years,
Yikes.
maybe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it was sad to see, you know, the thing is also when I went to go pick him up, they told me he has some heart condition. He also has dementia.
Mhm.
So, you know, it just made me really reflect on, like, you know, all these years you get focused on what's directly in front of you. You know, you want to do better for yourself and for your family. But sometimes you don't get a chance to, you know, stop and smell the roses a little bit. You don't get a chance to spend time with the people that mean something in your life. You know, so right around the holiday times, this is a really good time for us to kind of reflect back and, you know, just try to spend that time with the people that we care about, or at the very least, reach out to them, tell them how much they mean to you, because you never know when you get another shot.
Right.
So,
and I think that's also good to bring up, you know, when you're reflecting, right? Like finance is really big in our business. Finance, your income is the definition of success in our business. But when I look at it, like this is the right time now coming into 2023 to achieve a lot of the goals that you're going to be able to do if you get your finance right. Right. So one of my topics I mentioned on the call was like, if you reflect on the year, how many breaks did you get to have? Right. How many times did you get to have fun with your family? How many times did you get to go on vacation? So these got to be in your situation where it's like a forefront of a goal setting. I want to make enough money so I can go to this part, to that part, right? But if you're not being disciplined in your business and taking care of your business, it affects everything. And then, you know, there's that one line Kanye used to say, money isn't everything, but not having it is. And then when it comes down to Christmas time, you know, holidays, Christmas gifts, you're like scratching your pocket. You're thinking, okay, can I afford this? Can I afford that? We don't want to be in that situation, right? We want to make sure come 2023, we're going to be gravy. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Like how much more life we can create, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great point as far as, you know, we all have the opportunity to go do fun things, you know, owning your own business.
Right.
You can go do fun things where you spend time with your family. You can go do fun things. Also, in addition, you also have the opportunity anytime you want to not work.
Right.
And if you're not working, what are you really doing with your time during that time? Because the thing is, if you're taking time off to be with your family, to go do something fun, do something that brings you real fulfillment, real joy, real happiness, by all means, go do it. But the thing is, if you're not working during times when you should be working or you could be working, but you're not doing anything productive with it,
right?
What do you expect to happen in your financial life? What do you expect to happen overall? Right. So it's just one of those things that we all got to kind of just think about, you know, during these times. Because, you know, all that time I was there, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, I'm wasting all these hours. You guys lost this stuff. You guys, and you know, I don't blame any of them individually because it's in a hospital. You know, they helped them, you know, so I'm not mad at them for that. But the thing is how the process is, go complain here, that the person tells you go complain there, and nothing's really going to be done. And the thing is, I just want the basics for him. I'm like, I don't care about the money. I don't care about anything else. I just want him to have his glasses, dentures, whatever ID, whatever he needs to get by day to day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's all we really care about. But, you know, during all that time, I'm thinking, if I had a real job, I'd be losing money.
Yeah.
You know, if I had a 9 to 5, if I worked, you know, so running my own business, yes, there's lots of income from me not doing my own personal work during that time. But the thing is, if you set it up properly, you know, it's not a total loss. Right. And if, you know, you guys are not building a team, I mean, that's something that you should consider. I'm like, you're solely dependent on yourself. You're not self-employed, or you're not a business owner. You're just self-employed during those situations. Right.
Right.
If you have no other income coming in, you don't work. But also, I mean, like, even if you are self-employed, even if you're still in that position, or that's how you want to run it, think about how much further you could be if you could work during the times when there's not an emergency that comes up. If something unexpected doesn't come up, if you have time, like, why aren't you trying to stack and trying to get ahead?
Yeah.
Right. And if you don't know how to do that, then during these times, this is when you need to talk to your upline. This is when you need to talk to someone that's actually doing it. It's when you need to talk to someone that is further ahead of you, whose position you would like to be in.
Yeah.
Not go and talk to somebody who's in the same position as you. I mean, unless they're giving you positive advice, you know, there's always something to learn from there. But don't go talk to somebody else who's doing worse than you, because they'll tell you how tough it is.
Yeah. So that goes back into, okay, so if you guys are going to have some break, you're looking ahead of 2023, we got to start looking at, okay, what are some personal development we got to create? Okay. Because the skill that got you here is the skill that you currently have. So for you to get to the next plateau, the next level, what are those missing skills that you need to develop? Maybe 2023, we gotta look into reading like 12 books, like, a book a month, 2 books a month to get you better, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about self-improvement.
Mm-hmm.
You doing anything different this upcoming year, Cliff?
Oh yeah, man. I'm definitely no longer taking long breaks away from the gym because I realize, for me, not for everyone, I realize I need it. You know what I'm saying? It helps me build that discipline and that consistency and that routine. And I think it's been like 6 months since I've been to the gym consistently. And I was like, man, this is just not good for me because like just the way I think and just the way I operate, it's like without that and without me knowing that I'm out there grinding for this, it's like, well, you know what I'm saying? It just I feel like the gym is just a part of me in a sense. Not saying I'm like a gym freak or anything like that, but I've developed this connection, this bond with it. So if I'm disciplined, if I'm consistent in the gym, then I know I'm gonna grind as hard as I need to with anything else. So I'm definitely I'm starting before 2023 comes, that chapter comes. And I've been in the gym, so far fairly consistently on, the same routine that I used to have when I was at, you can say, my best. So
yeah,
that's one of the biggest changes that I'm gonna make, and I know I'm not gonna step back from that anymore because I need that for me and I need that for my business.
Do anything differently for 2023 to help achieve your goals?
Yeah. So stricter things, being more in the present and then not thinking too much like from the past or in the future. So a lot of like, if you're in the zone of working, being more in the zone and trying to eliminate a lot of distractions in between from that. Having more conversations. Mentioned in our management meeting, I think as a builder, I got to define a bigger definition of what a part-time and what it takes to be part-time versus a full-time agent. Okay. So my number one, so I consider the number one thing I want to do for my business in 2023 is to create 3 sales managers, senior sales managers with their logos. Okay. Because that's 3 100K plus producers. That's 3 legs, right? So if you have that, you're building for something bigger. So it's me creating the foundations on that. For me to do that, I got to recruit, I got to hire, I got to train, I got to build, and I got to create those relationships for those.
Yeah, I mean, so that I think both of those require discipline. Both of you guys,
Yes.
Changes that you guys or focuses that you want to focus. I mean, it's not really changing that much.
Mm-hmm.
Every time that we do that, I mean, health is obviously a very important thing. Just coming off the story about my uncle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I was sitting there feeling bummed for my uncle, feeling bummed for that I haven't seen him in this long, and I got to see him under these circumstances. And then also, just thinking about what's going to happen next with dementia. I mean, I'm worried about him, obviously, but during that time, I was just thinking like I wasted an entire day here, but then again, like I was overcome with gratitude because I'm just like, things could be worse. I mean, like my health is not in the same position as his right now, and I still have an opportunity to change things.
Yes.
I can, health is why health is so important. That's the first part of discipline to help you achieve your business and your other personal goals. Because, it doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter any material wealth, any plans, any good intentions. If you don't have your health, it's tough to accomplish any of these things.
Mm-hmm.
But, also like, I'm still in a position where, fortunately I can help him out still, because, I run my own business and, I can maneuver things around. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop working so I can do everything, but I can kind of be flexible about certain things. So, there's a lot to be thankful for, a lot to be grateful for during the end of the year. So, that's just reality. And, look, this is not a sob story because I'm sure there's plenty of other people there dealing with the same thing, dealing with a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
So like, this is in no way complaining. It's just a reflection that, all the things that we got to deal with, you never know what other people are going through.
Yep.
So we got to be grateful. We got to take advantage of all our opportunities when they are directly in front of us. And, let's not wait. Okay. So we're going to 2023. This is what I'm hoping for all of you guys. Hoping that you guys have, as much success as you guys are willing to work for.
Yep.
As much as you're willing to commit to. and nothing out there is stopping you guys. So just keep doing it. So, yeah, that's that. So, Rob, sorry for the long introduction or the long the long tangent here, but just to introduce Rob Rall is actually joining us out of Florida. I'm not sure exactly where, which we'll catch from him in a second, but I actually met Rob about a year and a half ago.
And I met Rob at last year's convention.
So joining us out of Florida, he's actually a relatively new agent. He's been with us for a little bit, but hasn't really gone full time. So he's just been doing this part time, but he's been getting some great results. I actually wanted to have you on to kind of see what you're doing, to hear a little bit about you. So first of all, why don't you tell us what'd you do before this, Rob?
I would say hospitality, just to kind of narrow that down a little bit. In and out of restaurants, clubs, country clubs, doing bartending to all sorts of different things. But yeah, hospitality, I say, is what I was doing before insurance.
Well, I can definitely see that. You've always been a very friendly, outgoing guy from the time I met you. And one of the cool things about for everyone that you guys hear on these podcasts, if you get something valuable from them, Rob included, if you guys show up to the national convention, which is coming up February 1st through the 4th, it's going to be located in Miami, right in Rob's backyard here. It's free to attend. Go to fflconvention.com. Make sure you guys are registered. It's free to attend. Huge event. He's going to be at Lone Depot Park where the Miami Marlins play.
Top Golf.
We have Top Golf the first night. That's February 1st, which Jack, you and I are hosting. So I think we're going to get the top deck again. Everyone that's watching, you guys are invited. We're going to send out the RSVP link. So looking forward to seeing you guys there and just spending some time getting a chance to meet some of you guys in person. Looking forward to seeing some of you guys again in person. And, meeting people in person is it's an important thing because, Rob, if we'd never met, it'd be tougher to kind of, accept a new opportunity the same way, right?
Absolutely. And I'm very big on, just keeping an open mind on things. And the fact that Alex had, you guys were down at the same time, with everything that you guys had going on. And I was like, you know what, I just had a really good feeling about it. And, really, really glad that we met.
So you're going to be showing up at the convention, obviously. What are you looking to get out of it?
Yeah, I'm all registered. I'm looking forward to some competition over at the Top Golf. If anybody, thinks that they are ready to get number one, I'm ready to compete. So
right there.
He's throwing down the gauntlet. Outside of Top Golf, what are you looking forward to learning at the convention?
Honestly, I really want to focus 2023 on building.
Nice.
Yeah. That's my number one thing. I know how to personally produce. That's not a problem. Yep. But my number one thing now for this next 2023 is building. I'd like to have a nice size organization to where I can kind of step back and just, be able to help agents produce like I know how to produce and, create that lifestyle that most people want.
No, you've been here for how long? Have you been here with us now?
With you guys, I think it's going on 2 years. I think, it's almost 2 years. Like you said, about a year and a half. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you've obviously only done this part-time because you had other businesses that you've been focusing on. And as of recently, you started picking things up. What was the impetus for that?
So I do health insurance. I started this industry going on almost 11 years ago. So I have always been a health insurance agent working for different agencies, always being an employee. And once I realized the income potential for being a business owner or even being self-employed, I was like, sign me up. The freedom, the hard work, the mental toughness that's needed in order to run your organization, your own organization, is above anything that I've ever, run into. So I'm always up for a challenge. And, they said it's hard, you won't last your first year. And, you tell me I can't do something. That's it. I'm going for it. So
So I mean, just to be realistic, what are some of the challenges that people should expect if they're getting into this for the first time?
Being told no, making a load of calls an entire week and nothing happens. I mean, shoot, even going a whole month sometimes and almost nothing happens. I mean, that's when you know that you got to either change something or you have to seek help through your upline, or, just try to change something up maybe, but just stick with it. No matter what, just stick with it, because this industry definitely, it's worth staying in this industry. I can tell you that, because the weak are going to fall off and only the strongest will survive.
Did you ever have any doubt that there's money to be made in this industry?
Have I ever had a doubt of that? No. Have I ever had a doubt on myself? 1,000,000 times. But about the industry, no, because I think I heard there's over $7 trillion that's got wealth that's out there that needs to be transferred from one place to another. So whether it's an annuity or whether it's, something that's out there, us as financial professionals, we have the ability to move that money around. And even if you just get a 0.00001% of $1 billion, that's still pretty good money, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So what caused you to start picking up the business here? Because you've been around for a couple of years, as you mentioned. You kind of just sat by on the sidelines a little bit. Not that we had a problem with it. You told us you were kind of just easing into it.
There was also a little hiccup with Angela and your wife and contracting too, right?
A little bit, not much.
That wasn't the reason.
I was mainly I have over 30 states, so I was usually, using my license anyways. But there's a little hiccup with Americo, but that's because we signed up for a bunch of states a long time ago, and apparently you have to pay for all those states when you write them down. So instead of paying as you go, as you write business in those states, that's something that I wish I would have learned. So anybody new that's coming on, if you have a few extra states on your license, I would just hold off on that until you actually have business to write in those states. That's a little nugget I would definitely, drop.
Which on that note, with Americo, you actually don't need to request the appointment for that respective state. You just have to submit business with that state.
Yes.
Then they'll go and search it, and then they'll appoint you at that time.
Right.
It's less than money to
setting
appoint.
it all up ahead of time and paying all the fees ahead of time, and you might not even write business in that state.
Exactly.
It's like,
so that was the hiccup. That's one of the contracting hiccups. So Rob comes from the health insurance field. He's licensed in multiple states. He decided, okay, well, I'm going to get things ready. I'm going to get contracted. He told Americo he had 30 states. He hasn't written business yet. And then after a couple of months, behind the scenes, Americo was charging him the state appointment fees. So next thing you know, he had chargebacks that he got terminated for without writing business.
It was over $400, I think, in state fees. Yeah, it was crazy.
You were a little too proactive on that one, Rob.
Yeah, well, my licensing coordinator, aka wife, but if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have made this last month just with Mutual of Omaha. You know what I mean?
How about 10 families?
Props to Angela.
10 families, yes. 10 families is definitely what I meant.
Yeah.
So now you also came from another, without naming the name, you came from another IMO prior to coming to FFL. So I mean, you sat around for a little bit, then you start picking up in terms of your personal business. Now you're in a position where you said you want to build a team. What was behind that? Like, why is it now the right time?
The freedom, the understanding, the learning curves, the ability to answer just about any question that any of my agents have coming on. That confidence level of being able to show somebody, hey, listen, you can make easily, over 6 figures in this industry. Let me show you how. And I can very confidently show somebody how, even, depending on a part-time basis or not. So.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, they get into the mindset of like, I don't want to start bringing in a team and start hiring and recruiting until I'm in a position where I can show them that I'm doing it. But, so I get that part, which it's not necessarily true, but, I do respect when people understand, hey, I just want to be a little more proficient with everything that I do. I want to lead by example. So that's commendable.
Yeah, and that's something that I personally have been holding on to, and that's been, I think, a curse almost on my end, but I know that will eventually allow me to be able to just kind of launch forward once I'm that go-to person and easily being able to answer questions and prevent things from happening that I've run into in the past.
Yeah.
But overall, that's what leverage is for. That's why you have uplines, to be able to ask them the questions before you actually have to run into it. So let them pour into you, and then that should always trickle down to any of the rest of your agency that you bring on. So absolutely, I agree. I'm a little bit of a slow learner, and I'm a very technical person. If you guys are familiar with the STAR personality thing, S is for structure, T is for technical, A is for action oriented, R is for relationship oriented, and I'm very much of a T, which is super technical. And once I learn something, that's it. Though I just try to feed it out and teach other people as much as I can.
Well, let me add a caveat to my previous statement. While a lot of people, it's admirable if they want to just get things going, so they can come from a place of experience to be able to bring people into. That's one thing. But I think a lot when people use that, I don't want to bring people in until I know everything. First of all, you got to be serious about getting to work and actually learning this stuff, because sometimes you sit around and not only are you not that productive, other people that you potentially could help out with this opportunity, because a lot of people are looking to make more money.
Yeah.
I shared that article with you guys about that poll. Like, a bunch of people are looking, a huge percentage of people are looking to change jobs when the new year comes around.
Yeah.
Because people think, hey, it's a new year, so it's time for me to change careers and get into something a little bit more lucrative, something that fits my personality better, whatever it may be. So the thing is, if you guys genuinely have people that could benefit from a career change or a new opportunity, or even doing this part-time, as
Yes.
John kind of brought up earlier, if your reasoning behind it is like, I just need to figure out what I'm going to do first. I'm going to figure out and learn the business, make some money, and do all the stuff first myself. You have a responsibility to do it.
Yes.
Because don't keep pushing that off and using that as an excuse when now you're hurting more than just yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
You're missing out on
that's
the boat.
the biggest thing. You're shooting yourself in the foot when you do that. So learn from me that you want to grow and learn at the same time.
Yeah, not just that, but as the company grows, as FFL grows, you are missing on some boat, because you or your friend, let's say you might bring in a warm recruit in, but they might know someone else that's already joined FFL, right? They started telling FFL before they even got contracted. Next thing you know, you're waiting on, let me get my production up. 2-3 months down the road, they're already contracted.
Which has gotten a lot better. Remember before, there used to be so many instances of like, oh, hey, like this guy's on this other team already. And like, I'd known him since like third grade.
Yeah.
And I was going to bring him in, but I wasn't ready at the time. Can we move to my team? It's like, why did you notice his third grade? Why didn't you tell me before?
No,
yeah,
exactly.
Not just that. I had
That's
a situation where my college, my fraternity brother, my college bro's little sister would say, hey, he started asking me, hey, what company are you with again? Yeah, my little sister joined. He could have referred that to me if I wasn't more vocal about my company, right?
Right.
Yeah. Which is now is a lot easier, especially with these podcasts. So it's great that we're able to have these, because friends and family members, they said, hey, don't you have that elite little podcast going on? Even my nephew from last night's Christmas party, my nephew's like 11 or 12, but people have Instagram now. Don't you have that little thing? It works. Marketing works.
Yeah. So don't miss out on the opportunity for yourself. Don't be afraid to share the opportunity with other people. And it's good accountability. If you're kind of just trying to dip your toe into it, and if you got other people coming in, it gives you all the more reason to just dive in and go all in on this. So, Rob, tell us about your business, because you've your business has been picking up, and it's great to see. Like, how have you been drumming up this business? Because you're still doing this part-time, right?
Yes, I am still doing this part-time because I do health insurance and Medicare mainly during the days. So any type of new clients that I get, they all get life insurance. Any one of my health clients gets some type of life insurance, whether it's an express term, which I love. Express Term is like my favorite from Mutual of Omaha right now. I mean, instant approvals, next day pay. That's kind of like my niche.
Nice.
And then because you could fit anybody from an 18-year-old or 19-year-old really, all the way to a 60-year-old, you know, and you can get them some type of Express Term unless they need, you know, a final expense with somebody through Medicare. But I like to blend the two. And then referrals. Referrals is probably my number one source. If it's not from my day job, it's definitely the referrals. So as far as referrals go, I'm following up with my clients every year. All of my clients that I've written in the past, every year I'm calling. Hey, how are things? How are things going? How's the family? Okay, great. Just wanted to wish you happy holidays. Boom, boom, boom. By the way, do you know of anybody else that I might be able to help you with? A lot of agents, I feel like, are pretty scared of calling back their clients because they're scared they might want to cancel their policies.
Right.
Well, chances are that you're going to get a referral. You're going to get more business out of that call than the chances of the client actually canceling. So that's something that I would say is referrals. I push referrals like no other. That's free business right there that we're missing out on. And that's probably my number one thing, other than the fact that it's being, you know, that it's open enrollment, and that definitely helps.
Well, I mean, that's definitely smart utilization of the people you already have. I mean, I think your situation is a little unique, which is not that unique. A lot of people work in different industries, but, you know, you constantly have a flow of people that you talk to. You have an existing clientele base. So why not leverage this and, you know, leverage those relationships, reach out to them, see if you can help them out. They're going to die just like all the rest of us, and they have a need for the products that we provide.
Yes.
So, you know, I think for a lot of people, when they think about referrals, they say, I don't need to buy leads because when we met, I told you about leads, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, how did you feel about that back then, by the way, before we?
Leads, it's mixed for me. Leads is very mixed for me. When I talk about referrals, I'm talking about referrals from clients that I already got from leads. So you have to get the clients from somewhere. Right. So as long as you build that certain book, then I think it's pretty easy to kind of maintain or get referrals from that book. So
yeah.
So I think a lot of new agents or people coming new into the industry, when you talk about leads, they're just like, do I have to buy leads? How much should I invest, or should, you know, what if it doesn't work? All this and all that. You know, it's all part of your marketing. Yeah. You know, so like if you have an existing regular base of people that you talk to, that's part of your marketing.
Yeah.
You know, you can leverage those relationships. If you don't have people to talk to on a regular basis, you can only write your mama and your cousin up so many times.
Yeah. And not just that, but you got to understand that the type of leads that we're getting, right? We have two main types of leads. We have our final expense leads, which we do deal with like 50 and up, 50 to 85 and up, right? So you run into situations where, you know, they're retired, they're on a fixed income. So what is that age bracket that we can get referrals where we can get high income sales because they're still working? Okay. So the second lead that we have is the mortgage protection. But sometimes here in California, we have a lot of clients that are like spending 40 to 50% of their take home on the mortgage, right? So they don't have as much of a disposable income. So where can you find that age group that's between 25, you know, full-time job, out of college, less bills, maybe single with disposable income, 25 to 40 something, good, decent middle income job that we can sell IULs, you know, big CBOs, Term Life Express. It's going to come from referrals.
And for anyone else that's out there listening, if you have another job or you have a network of people that you talk to, you know, the thing is, you can always find a way to kind of tie this in together. So, you know, Rob, what's your process as far as dealing with your health insurance clients or your Medicare clients? How do you transition them into life insurance? And what do you tell them? How receptive are they?
So any of my new clients that I get, I just slip it in. I say, hey, I got you a really good plan. I'm able to get you this health, dental, vision, anything else, hospital plan, right? And life insurance. Who would you like to list as your beneficiary? Oh, put down my kids, or put down my mother, or put down whoever. Okay, great. What's your driver's license number? Do you have any, medical history? What medications are you taking? I just make it so simple. And once I get the information I submit 3 or 4 applications at the same time, obviously including life insurance. If they're telling me, oh, that's a little bit too much, can we bring it down? Everything else goes off except for the life insurance. The life insurance is the last thing to go when people want to try to bring down the cost of their insurance. So that's typically what I do. And then one thing that I'll add on to the referrals for the Medicare is very strict. So if anybody knows anything about Medicare, you got to do Medicare sale on one call, and then you have to do life insurance and everything else on another call. But when you do that, the number one thing that I go through for Medicare referrals is their kids. Most people have kids. And if their kids are grown and they just got their house and they just did this and they just got a baby, chances are they're probably looking for life insurance. And if somebody's parent says, hey, listen, talk to this guy, the kids are going to, that's one of the easiest sales right there, is a parent that you already sold referring you to their children, which is like, oh, mom told you, dad told you, told me about you, that you have to be good. You like, it's like a no-brainer, right? Like nobody would ever really second guess that. Most people, at least. So that's one thing that I really enjoy about, serving the senior community, is the fact that they have children that they have influence over.
So if you could role play first real quick, I mean, how do you ask a parent for referrals for their children for life insurance?
Sure, no problem. So the first thing after I ask about a client themselves about their life insurance, okay, is there anything that you'd want to leave to the grandkids? Maybe anything else that you'd want to leave? And I just assume that everybody has grandkids. Everybody's got grandkids, especially if they're over 60 or 65 or in their 70s. And if there's not, then okay, what about your church? Church is one of the very next things that I go to. And if there's nothing for the church, then we'll go on to some type of nonprofit organization. I don't care. We're going to find somebody. But as soon as we find who the beneficiary is, that's when I'm going to ask more information about that beneficiary. So, for instance, they're leaving their kids as a beneficiary. Okay, great. Did they recently get married? Did they recently have a child? Is there anything, anything new happen with them? Anything new and exciting happening with them? Oh, okay. What's their telephone number? Do you mind if I give them a call a little bit later? All right. Would you mind telling them a little bit about me? Because, they're obviously I want them to have my information. God forbid anything were to happen, because I want them to call me. I want them to know to call me first. Right. Because, and that's another thing. Every beneficiary, you're getting told, you need a policy too. So there's a lot of different ways to be able to kind of web out as far as the clients and once you get them.
So how many referrals?
That answered your question.
No,
that
was great. How many referrals do you generally try to collect? What's your target for every client you talk to?
So if I can get at least 3 right after the appointment, immediately, like during the appointment, I'm really happy. If they're telling me nobody and they'll send me somebody later, it happens every once in a while, but those are the people I follow up with sooner. I don't wait a whole year before I call them. I'll call them in a few months, if not, 6.
Okay. So continue on with the role play. So now you got collected the referral for the child. How do you reach out to them? What do you tell them?
Yeah. How do you reach out, and how fast? Do you text first? Do you call the same day, the next day?
Yeah. So normally I'll ask the client to reach out to that individual, whether it's a child or a friend or whoever it is, and ask them or just tell them, hey, listen, I recently got insurance. You're probably going to get a call from my guy, my agent. Just look out for him. That's it. That's all I ask for. Just like a little warm, like look out for this phone call or look out for this text message. Once I contact that individual or the referral, I tell them everything that we were able to do. Well, not everything, right? Because there's HIPAA and, client privilege, but you just very generically say we were able to get them approved for a really good plan. And I understand that you recently had a child, or you recently recently bought a home. Do you feel as if you have enough coverage, or is life insurance important to you? Either one of those questions, because if somebody doesn't believe in life insurance, it's going to be really hard to convince them otherwise. So those are some questions that I'll go in, just kind of knowing a little bit about the person and just try to build a little bit of a relationship, have them get them to trust you, because obviously you help somebody else that they love and care about. And once you're in, that's it. So if they understand the importance of life insurance and, you got that trust, then all you need to do is just get the basic information, run some numbers, ask the beneficiary, and then the rest of the questions. That's it. So once I find the need, I find the beneficiary, and then the rest is over.
Got it. So do you purchase leads for your health insurance and your Medicare?
I haven't for quite some time. No,
you haven't. So you have that big of an existing client base that you.
So I have quite a bit of referrals through my health insurance agency as well as the life insurance and Medicare. So,
okay, well, that's awesome. And so for those of you that
rely on that,
yeah. So for those of you that are watching, if you don't have clientele base and you aren't able to collect referrals, I mean, leads is the easier way. Leads is just either you can spend all your time building up this network and have this existing history with people, or you can spend a little bit of money, get some names to talk to.
Yeah. Right. And don't get me wrong, this wasn't always this way. Back in 2019 and 2020, I bought well over $30,000 worth of leads, So this is a product of building a book of business off the leads. So this is not just, shaking hands and kissing babies ever since I was licensed. It was more of, let me get this block of business going and then build as much as I can off of that. So.
Got it. Okay. So now if someone was struggling here, Rob, what advice would you give them?
My favorite book, Relentless by Tim Grover. Read it.
Read it and do well with it.
Read it and soak it in and just make your, this bit, as I mentioned before, mental toughness is huge. So as long as you have that mental toughness. So number one, Relentless by Tim Grover, or Winning. He's got both of those books that just came out, or Winning just came out. But a sales book. We're in sales, as much as some people don't want to admit it, or some that love it, you got to learn it. So my favorite sales book that I've read recently is probably The Way of the Wolf, by Jordan Belfort. I didn't want to read that book because I saw the movie and I was like, he's just doing this to make money. But after I read that book, the man knows sales and every scientific part to it. So it's giving me chills right now just thinking about it, because I need to reread it. Like some of the stuff that he says in that book, it was just like,
what are some things he said on the book, just for people that don't want to read?
It works.
You all ask.
I'm sorry. I don't do that. You got to read. You got to put in the work. I
can't read.
He's not the summary. He's not
the audio book.
He's not the Cliff Notes.
I don't read. I listen. I don't read either. So no excuses.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a very underutilized tool that we all have access to. I mean, the thing is, you're right. We're in sales, and everything in the world goes around based on sales. Everything. You can deny it if you want, but sales moves the world. And the thing is, all these answers are out there. The thing is, there's all these different books, different resources, different people you can talk to. People that are really successful, they want acknowledgement for the things that they've accomplished in their life. They write it down in a book. So the thing is, if you're not going out there and actively seeking it, you can't complain about your situation really either, because it's like an open book test and everyone can use their books. Yeah. And not everything's going to work for you exactly the way that these books say. It's not like hey, all of a sudden, like, I've figured it out. It's a process. It's a collection. It's an aggregation of different things, different ideas, different thoughts, and everything works a little bit, but not everything works all the time.
Right.
So that's good advice. What's your daily schedule look like, Rob?
Wake up around 6:30, take the dog for a walk, get the kids up, make my wife coffee, and look as sharp as I can be, go to the office, work, come home, working from my home office, and take a break, put the kids down, maybe eat some dinner at the same time, and then finish up whatever I got to do after I put the kids down. So that's most of the days. And, Fridays, I tend to hang out and play a little golf, and I might play some Call of Duty every now and then. But, I have my kids' soccer games, and, definitely let my kids keep me busy. So.
Now, as far as seeing your clients, do you do it remotely or in person?
I do everything remote, everything, unless a client is absolutely requesting that we sit down, which is very rare. I do everything remote or over the phone, even easier.
Yeah. The thing I remember about you, Rob, when we first met out in Florida, we met up, it was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So like a lot of things, a lot of places were supposed to be shut down, or everyone was working from home. And yet you showed up in a suit, right? And then I was like, "Did you come for work?" You're like, "No, I just like to dress up." And you had a reasoning behind it. So why do you like to dress up, even though you don't have to go physically see people in person?
You dress how you feel,
Yep.
and you feel how you dress.
Yep. I agree.
I've don't get me wrong. I've worn basketball shorts underneath my nice shirts. But I think I've only done that maybe a handful of times, right? But for the most part, yeah, I'm because I still go out. I'm still, and one thing that I learned recently from How to Win Friends and Influence People is touching people in the slightest ways. So one thing I really like to do, especially around this time of the year, is I like to keep at least anywhere from 5 to 10 business or Christmas cards with a $20 bill in it. Like today, I dropped off my daughter at school, and the security guard in the very front, I put my name, my number. I tell him that I do health and life insurance. Okay. And I give him a little gift card with a $20 bill in it. And, that's another reason how I'm able to get referrals as well. It's just little stuff, honestly, that'll build up, and it'll just explode out of nowhere.
You'll definitely stand out when you do that. Most people probably won't do something like that. You got to keep yourself memorable.
Absolutely. And one thing that's really stuck to me ever since I heard this phrase is nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
True. And
people don't ever remember nobody cares how much you know until how much you care. And then, people will always remember how you make them feel, not what you say.
Right.
So those are some pretty big things that really stuck with me as far as sales and face-to-face, or, just really trying to be a light to somebody's dark path. That's all that we're really trying to do. And once they feel that's it. You just got to be genuine the entire time.
Somebody on the chat said, please repeat the name. It was Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence Others.
Yeah. They got a new one called the digital something. But yeah, that's all on Audible. Listen, I don't think there's maybe 1 or 2 books that I've read from front to back. Yeah. But as far as Audibles, I probably got, over 100 in my Scribd. I use Scribd. So that's, you pay like $12 or $13 monthly, and it's unlimited books. So that's what I use.
Well, just those two little quotes that you've said that you just shared with us. We've all heard it before. The thing is, it's all about the amount of work that we put into it, because it means something to you different depending on where you are. Because if you hear like people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Like something as simple as that. For most people, they're like, yeah, whatever. That's corny.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you start applying it regularly and you start meaning it, you start doing it, with everything that you do, it can make a big difference to you. So it's all in how we apply it. And I agree with you in the dressing up part. Obviously being comfortable is important sometimes, and there's always a time for both. And if you're killing it and you're dressing comfortably, and then you're doing well, don't change anything. Mm-hmm. However, like Rob goes, and Clifton's dressed up today. You feel different today, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So
can't lie.
If you're not getting the results that you want, why not change something that you can physically control? Because sometimes that affects your entire attitude, which impacts everything that you do going forward from that day. So
I'll even say if you're used to sitting down and talking and making phone calls, try standing up.
I don't sit down.
So there you go. Yeah,
when I'm on the phone, I'm
Yeah.
walking around. I'm talking. I can't.
I do.
stand-
Yeah, I
can't
have a
sit.
lift desk that I use quite often, like almost all day. And change your physiology. I think is the biggest thing. Physiology will end up coming out into your verb, your tonality. And I think motion creates emotion, and you want to have more emotion and fluctuating in your voice, because that's most of what we do is voice, over the phone. So
Would you
try
rather
standing
fight
up,
standing up or sitting down?
look in the mirror. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we got one last question for you, Rob.
All
So
right.
aside from money, what do you do this for?
The satisfaction that you're able to change somebody's entire legacy. I mean, legacy, I feel like is not used enough. And if you have something that can change somebody's legacy that everybody will know for forever, that hits home for me.
Awesome. Well, great stuff, Rob. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your tips and the things that you're doing. And it's all stuff that we can easily apply wherever you are currently in your position, with this business or just in life in general. So, looking forward to seeing you in Miami at National Convention coming up in
All right.
a little bit over a month.
2 months. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit over a month. So
Yeah.
we're at the end of the year, guys. So, let's make sure that you finish out the year strong if you guys are still working.
Yep.
And then if you guys haven't started planning for 2023, right now is the time, because look, time keeps continuing to move forward. The thing is, we got to make sure that we do too.
Yes.
Right. So let's go out there and continue to push. Hey, Rob, appreciate you guys. Appreciate Cliff. Appreciate John. Appreciate you, Yoel. And for all of you guys that are out here watching, if this is the last time I see you before the end of the year, I appreciate you guys. So let's go out there and let's go be elite, guys.
Happy holidays, guys.
Happy holidays.